This WBTV high-definition program is sponsored by Time Warner Cable. WBTV News Prime Time starts right now.
Who are you? Who are you?
Now on Prime Time, when congressmen attack, a U.S. representative from North Carolina goes manic on a college camera crew.
Folks, this is nuts. Look at it.
The candidate who lost to this unknown, unemployed, broke veteran who lives with his dad says he wants a do-over. Former lawmaker Vic Raw breaks his silence, protests the election results. But first tonight on Primetime, passing the torch, but who gets the handoff? Charlotte Mayor Pro Tem Susan Burgess stepped down 1 week ago with class, with courage, and with tears. And amid her battle with cancer, she says there's only one person who should take her place.
I urge you to give strong consideration for my replacement to my son, Jason Burgess.
But not so fast. 23 other people want the job, and the debate is about to get messy down at City Hall. Good evening, I'm Jamie Bull. Thanks for being here tonight. Maureen has the night off. Now, the City Council could be just minutes away from naming Burgess's replacement. But this is really an emotional debate. In Primetime's Jeff Atkinson joins us now. And Jeff, this is really a matter of process, but also a matter of respect.
Right, Jamie, and right now, respect for a dying council member's wishes seems to be what's winning over the process, or at least tradition. While the city opened up the seat for all to apply, it appears those who don't have the last name Burgess never had a chance. It's our cover story tonight. To fill Susan Burgess's seat, it's a delicate balance the City Council has to strike. Honor the wishes of a respected colleague who's given so much of her life to the city, but doing so risk angering a public already skeptical and in some cases upset about today's politics, or follow the process laid out in the past. The decision may have lasting ramifications. 24 people applied for the City Council at-large seat, but no one other than Susan Burgess's son appears to have had a chance. That's not the way it was when David Erdman, an attorney in Charlotte, was chosen to fill an at-large vacancy on City Council 11 years ago when a member stepped down for health reasons. Erdman and 24 others went through a long vetting process which included appearing in public before council to make a case for their candidacy.
If the council doesn't even hear from the other people who've applied, one would question whether that's due process. They've set up a process. They ought to follow through that process.
Problem is, the process isn't specifically laid out. It's done more by tradition. To fill the vacant seat, the law only says the candidate must be 21 years old, a Charlotte citizen, and registered with the political party of the departing council member, in this case a Democrat, the party Susan Burgess represents. Nowhere does it say how long city council members have to decide, or whether they have to hear from each candidate. But in the last 38 years, in the 6 times vacancies on council have had to be filled, it took weeks, in some cases months, to fill the seat. Burgess resigned 1 week ago today, and council is considering filling the vacancy tonight. Councilman Andy Doolin says, slow down.
In all those cases, people applied, and then they had an opportunity to come down and make their case of why they belonged on the Charlotte City Council. And that's all I'm asking. I want to give these folks an opportunity to come down there and do that.
Burgess says her son shares her values and ideals completely. And as we've seen in politics before, it's not uncommon for a family member to take over.
Everybody likes the family member replaces the old-timer who can't do it anymore because of sickness. That's a wonderful story, and everybody on council loves it.
But does it reinforce the message that politics is about who you know? Jason Burgess, if he gets the seat as expected to tonight, has promised not to run for office when his mother's term ends in 18 months. That's by tradition as well, but that appears to be another factor weighing heavily in supporters' decision to appoint him this evening, Jamie.
It's going to be an interesting night at City Council, and Tom Rousey there covering it for us, the latest at 11. Thank you, Jeff. More politics tonight. Former South Carolina State Senator Vic Raw breaking his silence. Last week, he lost to Alvin Green, an unknown, unemployed military vet who still lives with his dad. Well, now Raw protesting the election results. He says there are irregularities in the process, and South Carolinians' votes haven't been counted.
There is a cloud over South Carolina that affects all of our people. At this point, the people of our state do not have the basic confidence that their vote will be counted.
Well, even if the vote totals are right, other critics point to conspiracy. House Majority Whip Jim Clyburn says he thinks someone put Green up as a puppet candidate to embarrass the Democratic Party.
Do you fully support the Obama agenda?
Who are you? Who are you?
Well, that right there is North Carolina Representative Bob Etheridge going berserk on a student camera crew. Not sure why. He just loses his temper, slams their cameras, and puts a wrist lock on one of them.
Who are you? Please let go of my arm. Sir. Who are you? Congressman. Sir, please. Congressman, sir. Please let go of me. Who are you? Okay.
Now, Etheridge was leaving a fundraiser when the two kids with the camera approached him. We're not sure who these guys are, but we know this video first showed up on an ultra-conservative website, the same site that took down Acorn. Whatever the motive for the video, and no matter the reason for Etheridge's temper tantrum, the congressman apologized today.
Well, I've been spat at, pushed on, and threatened before, and that's no excuse for the actions that for my not walking on by. Just no excuse.
Well, the congressman also said he'd had a long day, but that, too, he says, is no excuse. Let's talk weather right now and get you over to Chief Meteorologist Eric Thomas. It's been a busy day, warm throughout the Piedmont. Some big-time thunderstorms have been popping up.
They've been rolling really from the mountains, foothills, all the way through the Piedmont, Jamie, and now a problem for counties in the Sandhills and the PD, also off to our east. Let's take you right to that radar and show you what's happening. And here it is. There's a lot of heavy rain really to the north of the true thunderstorms, which are rolling now through Anson County and also Union County. Still a lot of lightning to deal with as well. This is basically along Highway 74. If you folks travel out Independence Boulevard and you take your route down through Union County, here you go. That is a severe thunderstorm warning until 8 p.m. this evening over Monroe, Union County, Wingate, those areas, and then a severe thunderstorm warning that has been in progress a little bit longer until 7:15 for Anson and also Richmond counties. Let's bring you up to speed on each of these cells. First of all, here you see around Wofford, there's Wofford Street, Wingate. Right now, some lightning peppering that area, moving into Arrow Point Boulevard as well as White Store Road. Then we continue through Marshville, eastbound on 74. Here's Highway 109, and we also have Magnolia Grove Road. A lot of heavy rain in here, but then you get into the lightning again, south of Highway 74 in Richmond County, very close to Rockingham, now coming into view around Bellevue Lane, Horseshoe Rock Road. Here's Highway 1. So again, Jamie, these are the areas that we're watching. Still the potential for some damaging winds. I will tell you, these storms so far have not left in their wake a lot of damage, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Hope that continues as these are almost now out of our viewing area. Throw it back to you.
All right, your main forecast coming up in a minute. Thank you, Eric. New on Primetime, this lady allegedly bit a cop. York County Sheriff's deputies got the call that burglars were ransacking a house. When they showed up, they say Karen Kearse was acting deranged. When they tried to book her, they say Kearse freaked out, locked onto the officer's arm like a pit bull, then threw rocks in his face. She's charged tonight with assault on an officer. Community to the extreme. Officers in the North Tryon Division are doing more than trolling the streets and walking a beat. They are fighting crime on the back of a rhino. Sarah Batista takes you along for the ride. All new on Primetime.
They don't know that this is what's coming.
Officer Keeles says this ATV has done wonders in helping the North Tryon Division fight crime.
You could go behind buildings, you could go on the grass, and it'll get you there real quick.
The overall crime in the division has dropped significantly compared to this time last year. Armed robberies are down 38%, vandalism 14%, and auto thefts are down 58%. Keeles says the ATV, known as the Rhino, makes community policing easier. He says one of the most effective ways of fighting crime is to maintain a strong police presence and know your neighbors.
We could park this and just walk. And we have done it. We park it in one of the apartments and we just walk behind the apartment.
He says the apartment managers are doing their part too, carefully screening out troublemakers. Their efforts are paying off, especially in the Hidden Valley neighborhood where neighbors were once too afraid to go outside.
The bad guys are going to get the message, hey, this guy's coming out of nowhere. I mean, you look, there's some police officers. So they're getting the message that we're there.
For Primetime, Sarah Batista, WBTV, on your side.
And police say only a few of the 13 divisions have ATVs. They cost about $3,000. Graduation week is CMS. Next on Primetime, a look at why all the pomp and circumstance could turn local roads into a parking lot.
I'm Trent Ferris on your side in Rock Hill, and by the end of this tease, 10 people in the United States will need a blood transfusion. I'll tell you how the Red Cross is desperately in need of blood.
And a little bit later on, Alfred Hitchcock and the evolution of the dirty joke, the newly uncovered origin of the world's most famous one-liner.
But it hits you,